Hello? Philip. Hello?
Muted.
Can you hear me now?
Unmuted.
Yeah, I can. I can hear you.
All right, cool. One thing that you always want to do too, whenever you set up the meeting under options,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to turn off attendees can share webcams and attendees can,
Oh, I didn't even know that was an option.
attendees can share webcams and consent and attendees can view attendee list. I always turn that off. I always do it just because I don't want somebody popping on their webcam with their pecker out. You remember that one time somebody
Yes,
was like
watching
listening
porn.
to porn? Yeah.
And we
And
unmuted him. Oh my God. That was terrible.
that was, that wasn't,
That was funny too.
no, it was funny. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. They were killing time,
Oh my
killing two birds
gosh.
with one stone.
See, am I crazy? Why did I not see that? Computer mic and speakers. I'm just gonna test. Let's schedule it and see. Yeah, I don't have that option. Like,
May only be the presenter that has it. When you make the thing, you can set it when you make the actual deal.
that's what
When
I
you
mean.
make
Like,
the
I'm in GoToMeeting trying to schedule one, and it just says audio, co-organizers, and startup. And the only things I require are meeting passwords, select co-organizers, and audio. Use built-in audio or use my own conference call service. Oh,
yeah, we
I
got
think we've
folks
got
coming.
people join.
Right, good deal.
Hey everybody, we're going to give everyone about 5 more minutes to join the webinar and then we'll get started. We're going to give everyone just 2 more minutes to join and then we'll get started, so just hang tight with us for 2 more minutes. Okay, everybody, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for coming out to the webinar today. My name is Christy Thompson, and I am the Sales and Marketing Director here at BIS Technology Group. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to send us a chat and we can answer them as we go along. And then at the end, we'll open it up for some questions too as well if you want to unmute your mic at that time. We'll be recording the session, so we'll send it to you afterward. And Today, we're going to talk about how to effectively grow your business using LinkedIn. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Phillip Long. He is our CEO of BIS Technology Group. He has been in the marketing and technology sector for over 18 years. He is an entrepreneur with over 5 businesses and 600 plus clients from Gulfport to Gulf Breeze. And he's a certified information systems security professional. So, Phillip, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Chrissy, and thank you everybody for coming out. Really want to, just appreciate you guys spending time. And I always remind myself, so I'll remind myself while reminding you that, time is an unrenewable resource. So I appreciate the privilege to get to, basically use something very valuable with you guys. And I think this topic, especially for certain people in the market segment, is so powerful because of the just the power that LinkedIn has. And I'm going to be joined today from Ms. Stephanie May, who is our social media manager. And really her job is, I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself, I guess. Stephanie, jump in. Tell us who you are. What do you do?
Hey there, just making sure you guys can hear me. I am the social media manager for the clients for BIS Designs. We have over 30, nearly 40 social media SEO clients that we work with on a monthly basis, and LinkedIn is one of the biggest ones for business to business for sure. I have studied marketing and communications at the University of South Alabama, and I find that with marketing, pretty much every month is a learning curve as far as new things coming out for digital marketing.
And that is very much the case, is that, and I think it'd be fitting to talk about really, marketing in itself, digital marketing. And if you think about, basically, we have companies like Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn that we're going to talk about today. And at the end of the day, they have to have some type of mechanism in order to level the playing field. So what they do is I may not, that's probably not the best use of words in leveling the playing field, but let me go back at what I'm trying to explain. If you were Al's Five and Dime, mom and pop on the corner, and you were to figure out the algorithms, and you were able to overproduce the Walmarts of the world, that really wouldn't be fair to the world. So they're always changing things so that no one really gets to master it, so that ultimately you have to basically do the work. And that's the thing that I think is the biggest challenges for most companies, is that they have trouble, consistently doing the work from a skill set and a time perspective. And, I think that's something to kind of keep in mind whenever we're thinking about digital marketing. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You never really arrive. So let's jump in on this topic with about LinkedIn and whether you're a fit for LinkedIn. I'm going to kind of give my 2 cents worth, and I'm going to let Stephanie kind of correct all my mistakes and fill me in better. But, I think you got to think about what LinkedIn, that we call it a channel, a social channel. To me, LinkedIn is a business resume. And for people who have, business to business type relationships, and occasionally, someone even a B2C, they may want to get to look at you from a professional standpoint. But a lot of times, you're not checking out the resume of the person that you're buying, your food from necessarily, if you're just going, downtown and grabbing a basic meal from a diner. So it's really more of a business to business type resume profile, which of course now it has a channel where you're able to actually do videos, and you're able to do posts, kind of like Facebook, but they're really more geared on a business level. So I'm going to let Stephanie kind of give her take on it, help me out there. How do you see LinkedIn as a channel?
Well, LinkedIn, it is it's for professionals, and the mood is so much different than every other social channel. On Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, any of those, it's all about your socializing with your friends. And as far as advertising goes on the other channels, you are just working to get in between basically the socializing. Well, on LinkedIn, professionals are on there to actually connect with other professionals, whether they're business owners, whether they're potential clients. And also, the average household income of a daily user on LinkedIn is $109,000, which is just a lot higher than what you've got on other social channels. So when it comes to B2B professionals and you're trying to find your decision makers, LinkedIn is.
I think you have your speakers on.
Sorry about that, guys.
There you go.
Okay, so if the rest of that, basically what I was saying was the household income is just higher for LinkedIn, and you're finding your decision makers a lot faster.
Hey guys, just 1 second. We're having some technical difficulties. Let's mute everybody and then we'll open Philip and Stephanie back up.
Okay, I'm back unmuted. I don't think I'm the culprit here. So while y'all work on, you need to make sure that your settings are on computer audio or either phone audio, phone call for you guys. But anyway, let me keep moving on that thing where, again, it's a different channel. You're not going to have the same kind of posting. You're not going to have the same kind of items as you are, say, on Facebook or whatever else. So we'll move on. Let's look at a LinkedIn profile, and pretty much we're going to use my profile a lot on here. I've spent a lot of effort in this profile. It has served me very well, and that is the good news about things with LinkedIn profile from a professional standpoint. It really does work. And I want to go over a couple of topics on what you're looking to do. I think I have almost 6,000 connections on LinkedIn, some of which I wish early on I had picked some that I wish I would not have allowed to join me on my connections. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. But so let's kind of go over what a good profile looks like. You really want a professional headshot. One of the things that you don't want to have is, man, I see people all the time on a business, professional looking, site or presence that you want to project here. They'll have themselves, at a party drinking beer. That may be great for Facebook, but it's not great for LinkedIn. Or they'll pop a phone off their, pop a shot off their phone or something like that, and with their sunglasses on. That just really isn't the image that we're looking for. You also want to have a headline with a job title. I think that's important so that whenever people look at you, they know kind of who you are, what you do, and things like that. You'll see a lot of headlines there that aren't really relative to what they may be doing, and it's actually counterproductive. And one of the things as humans that we do is we try to conserve calories, and if it's a lot of work, we'll move on to the next thing, especially on a platform that's just easy enough, or even in our lives today. There's something else that can fill the void of whatever you're doing very quickly with just a simple click. Another thing is you want to have your location. You want to have it set correctly. So that people know where you are. I think that's relative, probably more so in our market than a lot of markets. I've been in this market for, I've lived here all my life, and I've done business here for about 20 plus years. Really, if you include what I did at Warner Development before, really, all my adult career, I've worked in a professional, either sales or entrepreneurial role, and our market's different. If you, we don't like guys from New York City too much, or at least that's not a big plus as a rule, I would say. Another thing is you want to have your contact information. You can give as much or as little as you see fit, but you want to have that readily available so somebody can simply reach out, or they can do some more research about you at the tip of their fingertips. I think is really important. And anything you want to add to that, Stephanie?
Yeah, no, I think you covered all of it. As far as you just want it to look professional, like you said, you don't want your profile picture and your cover photo to look like a big party, and you want to make sure that everything is being seen as far as your location, especially.
Yep. Another thing you want to talk about is a personal LinkedIn profile. Is something that is important. This is basically the cover letter, if you will. Tell us about that a little bit, Stephanie.
Okay, this is definitely the place to tell a story, and you want to show your personality, but in a professional way. But there's an easy medium here because you don't want it to be really boring. A lot of LinkedIn profiles is just strictly business. There's no personality whatsoever, but you have to keep in mind this is still marketing, and you're still telling a story about your professional career as well as your business. So this is the place to do that, and you want to get creative about how you talk about yourself. A lot of people are uncomfortable with telling about themselves in any type of bio, but on here is the place to brag about yourself basically, but in, obviously a certain way. But this one is laid out perfectly. This one is this is Philip's about section, and it goes by paragraphs. You'll keep in mind that it is broken down into smaller paragraphs. You don't want to have just a long book when someone clicks on your About Me, because they are simply not going to read all of that. So go down, make sure you have your links, your photos and documents. Those are a big thing. Photos on any social channel are a big plus.
All right. Here's a little bit more of information. Also, articles, activities. Especially again, you're appealing to someone who normally in a business-to-business relationship, especially like what we do, at the end of the day, we're asking for commitment. I always tell the folks around here, look, we're not wanting to date these people. We're wanting to marry them. And if you're going into a marriage type relationship, you're going to want to know more about your partner. And this is a great way to stand off at a distance to find out about that partner. And it also gives you an enormous amount of credibility, because if you've been working this stuff, they know that you are about it. And so, you need to have articles, activities, things that you're doing. Those are very, very, very important as to, expressing your commitment to your trade. And, at the end of the day, people, they want to work with somebody who's a professional and, who brings some value, some content, some information to the table. So, it takes some work, but that work pays off well.
And hey, Philip, to jump in there on the articles, one of the big things about writing articles, guys, is a notification will actually go out to your connections saying you've published an article. So that's some kind of, press that you just can't buy. So the more articles you write, the more notifications people will get sent to their phone saying so-and-so has published something. They won't do that with a post, but they will do it with an article. So something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, that's very good information. Thank you, Christy. And then kind of jumping over, talk to us about posts. I know Stephanie is very much in tune with trying to make posts that that people, engaging type posts.
Yes, back real quick note on the articles. If you have a blog on your website, every single blog post that you put on your website you should go directly to LinkedIn and make that an article. And like Christy said, that automatically notifies everyone who's following you that you have posted a new article. So you're just getting more and more views as far as your website and those articles go. As far as the posts go, This is another place to show your business personality. You want to post it. You'll see down here below this new blog post, arrows like this actually get a lot more engagement, and it's something about people just see it and they think, well, okay, it's not knowing what's next, and they click on it to see what may be below it. So keep in mind that I wouldn't put a whole lot of emojis on LinkedIn, but your posts need to be professional, but catching the attention. Also for businesses, we try to keep this in mind. All of the holiday posts or birthday posts and things like that don't necessarily need to go on they won't need to go on your LinkedIn profile as much as they do for your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to keep this again geared towards something that would be engaging, and what I call it WIIFM, and it stands for what's in it for me. And it's actually not what's in it for me personally, but what's in it for the client, my potential client, my avatar, the person that I would serve the very best. What am I writing? Am I writing something that would engage them? I think too often we focus on ourselves, what's in it for me being us, when it really needs to be what's in it for our client, what's in it for our potential person, and write things in such a way that would be engaging to them. And the beauty of this is that this LinkedIn stuff can also be used, the blogs, the articles, a lot of this can be reused, repurposed content that you can use in other channels as well. But you just got to keep in mind that this channel is a business channel. Another thing is really writing out your experience. And this again is just like a resume. This is your, the resume that talks about, who you are, what you've done, and you can tell a story. You can write it, and I'm not a guy. I hate big tombs of data. I think everybody kind of scans and reads, and so you want to position it in a way that it's easy to read with some white space in there, and you want to highlight the things that you've done, kind of a brag, or or not really even a brag. It's really the credentials. What have you done with your career? And you want to have all that stuff listed out there. Stephanie, any addition to that?
No, just the only thing I do like to add in on as far as the LinkedIn profile goes, you want to keep in mind that kind of the rule of thumb with resumes, or this is basically a resume online. You want to keep it not necessarily short, but just like Philip was just saying, easy to read. Some little white spaces in there. People are going to scan over it and not necessarily read every little word. And if the more if you make it one long book, people just simply won't read all of it. So like this one is set up right here. It's easy to read, short little paragraphs, gives you all the information you need, but in a informing, short but sweet way.
Yeah. Also, you want to attach photos, videos, links. Those are things that, again, are any bit of content that you make, you can use across multiple channels. Just again, like I said earlier, you want to keep it in tune with the overall channel itself and what fits there. In this channel, you want to keep, you can put business stuff out on Facebook, but but you can't put Facebook stuff on LinkedIn, I guess would be a good way to say that. Another thing is education. You want to have your LinkedIn profile about the licenses, the things that you've attained and that you have gained. Of course, anybody who knows me knows that that's probably my weakest link in my LinkedIn profile, is that I don't even have a even a bachelor's degree. Basically, I've learned what I've learned going through the ropes. I listen to a couple of business books a month, and that's how I did it. But you know, for some of you guys that are in the channel, education's huge, and you want to be sure that you have your education and stuff posted because it's gonna make a huge difference in whether you're going to get hired in the accounting trade. If you're doing, you know, auditing, if you're doing some of those types of things, you really just you can't have any credibility. You know, it's hard to basically, you know, have, you know, as an entrepreneur and in the technology business, really it's a matter of whether you can do it or not. And in some industries that's true, in other industries that's not. Anything you want to add to that, Stephanie?
Just the fact that on LinkedIn, this type of stuff is searchable. So if you are actually on LinkedIn looking for jobs, or you're on there looking for potential job employees, you can search in LinkedIn for certain keywords. So you want to keep that in mind when you are laying out your own profile. That way you put in there exactly what your business is about. And if you have certain, like, you know, if you have an associate's degree, you want to make sure that that's in there. So when people go in and they search things, certain words, that your location and your profile will pop up because they're both on your profile.
Yeah. And that is very important, is that you want to be sensitive to keywords throughout the entire setup, because it is very much searchable. And I have a friend who's associated with a peer group I'm in, IT Nation Evolve, and that's what he does for a living. Is he's a recruiter, and 99% of what he does is off of LinkedIn. So he's out recruiting, and he is, you know, he's taught me a lot of tricks on LinkedIn, just in ways of how he uses it. And again, it is all searchable. Another thing is you want to have your list of basically your skills and endorsements. I think you can only have, you know, I don't know how many, but I'm maxed out. And where people have endorsed me throughout the years, and maybe one of you guys might know a little bit more. It seems like they used to ask me all the time about that. Do I want to endorse this person or stuff like that? It seemed like they don't do that as much anymore. Maybe, I don't know, maybe y'all could add to that.
Well, LinkedIn, they did a survey about 2 years ago, and they got a lot of feedback on that the emails going out for endorsements and reviews got a little bit too spammy. So people were simply not responding to it anymore. So now it's gotten to be, unless the email comes from a specific person, like Christy gets in and works directly with BIS, and if she sends out a request for an endorsement, then it obviously goes to the person's inbox. But LinkedIn doesn't, they no longer send out emails, you know, every day or every week asking other people to endorse strangers.
Thank you. I knew that I hadn't seen that in a while. I hadn't even thought about it. But yeah, I remember at one point, yeah, that was very popular. I got a lot of that. Another thing you want to talk about is recommendations. I think we live in a society, what we call crowdsourcing, where, you know, ultimately you don't care what I say about myself, but if somebody else said something that you respected about me or whatever, you know, that would carry a lot more weight than what I said about myself. And I think that's true for everybody. So you want to go in there and ask for recommendations, and you simply do it using that button right there, recommend. At one point, I was really active and I kind of slacked off, but I've received 20 recommendations and I've given 5. So only 5 people have asked me for a recommendation. So that's something that that is very nice about that. Now, correct me, ladies, if I'm wrong. Can you give someone a recommendation without them asking?
You can go to their profile, see how it says recommend Philip over on the side over here. It'll have that on most people's profile. Will have that option. You have to go in and set that up though. So if you go in as a new LinkedIn user, make sure when they ask you, do you want people to be able to recommend you, then yes, you could click on that and recommend them.
Yeah. And again, you don't want to use that inappropriately. You know, you don't want to try to gain favor, I don't think, on somebody you don't know by recommending them. This is something where, you know, it's a genuine recommendation that you could that you could, actually do that. But that is a great way, and that's something I need to get on my calendar. And there's a lot of people that I know, like, and respect, and give great services that I would recommend. But that's a good way to strengthen relationships that you already have with people, especially, they've done something great for you, or they've done something, extraordinary, that kind of went above and beyond. And, that's a great way to reward them and show your appreciation for them. Go ahead, Stephanie. What are we doing here?
All right, well, here is your accomplishments. This is continuing on with basically your resume, but you're putting in, where you've worked, who you've worked for. You can even add your charity work, any publications, especially if you're in a marketing field or you're in some type of industry where writing is a big deal or creativity is a big deal. You want to put any type of portfolio or publications under that section right there where people can find it easily, and you can add links as you want to, so people can, if you do have an online portfolio, that will show up under there as well. And your interest, again, your LinkedIn profile is professional, but you're showing your personality here. So you want to make sure they know if you're involved with the community and if you have certain passions as far as charity work goes or other business practices, or if you teach at one of the colleges on your spare time. A lot of entrepreneurs do that, or business owners do that for the next generation of entrepreneurs. You want to put all of that in there. If you have a podcast, any of that type of stuff, you want to put that under your interest so people can find it and keep up with you regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that also for you, if you want to know something about a particular person to see if they're a fit maybe to do business with, or if you're in sales and you want to see what their interests are, it's a great area to look at to kind of get to know somebody from a distance. All right, let's talk about building an actual business page. Now we're kind of transitioning here. We're going from a personal page to an actual LinkedIn business page, and it's a little bit of a different animal. It's I think it's good in a way, but I don't think it's not near as good as your personal page, because at the end of the day, LinkedIn is your business resume. It's an extension of you personally, I think, to a large degree. So, Stephanie, why do I even want to set up a business page?
Well, you have this linked here because obviously it is a business and you can run ads this way, but like you were saying, your personal page, when you link it to your business page, all of your posts and any of your articles and everything is linked back to your business. So they're getting to know you personally, but in the end, if they want to work with you and your business, then they need to know more about your business. So that's why you have your business page set up and you have it all set up professionally. Another thing is anyone who works for BIS, can connect their profile to BIS. So now anytime anyone goes in and finds an employee of yours, they can now learn about your business and who they work for. All of it's just tied in together. And you want to make sure, like it's showing up here at the top, that visit website link. I'm shocked at how many business pages on LinkedIn I get on and they don't have a website linked. So that is the most important button probably on your business page, because people, that's how they're going to find you. That's your storefront online.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's also a backlink in that it helps your SEO on your website from a very trusted source, LinkedIn. So that's also
right.
Another, all this stuff really is connected and totally goes together. Cover photo and just really you want everything good, crisp, clean, easy read. All those kind of things are so important whenever you're doing the graphics on any of this. I see something put in there and this kind of a WYSIWYG kind of a editor. What you see is what you get, and people will throw up a logo and it's it's off the edges. It's just not professional. You want to have that really professional, crisp look. Again, you want the business page. You want to have a good about us. It talks about what you are, what you do, your specialties, all of that kind of things. You can post jobs, you can do all kinds of great information is right here, and it'll make suggestions for you. I can go get a job at J.C. Penney. So that's always a plus. I believe Mr. Penny said that if you show me a stock boy with a dream, I'll show you the next CEO. You show me a stock boy without a dream, I'll show you a stock boy or something. I'll have to look up that quote.
Yeah.
We'll email that quote out to you guys.
Yeah, they say the same thing about McDonald's. If you're frying fries, you got the next CEO. They're hard workers. But let me go back. I'm gonna go ahead and say too, on your LinkedIn page, going back to your profile.
Right here.
Whenever you search, yes, right here. If you search for a certain business in Google before any other social channel, and right under your actual website is your LinkedIn profile, that will pop up before anything else. So that's another reason to make all of this look as much like your website as possible. You want it to be professional and, like Philip said, crisp and clean looking, so people can find what they're looking for without having to search too hard for it.
Cool. All right. Let's talk about some posts, and I know Stephanie is a lot into that. You address that for me.
Okay, I'm a big advocate for don't be too salesy. These pyramid schemes and things like this are a big trend right now. But you can almost always tell that that's what it is from the first few words of a sentence, and you can look at this bad post here and tell that she is doing nothing but selling to you. She's selling a certain product, and it comes across as spammy and kind of a gimmick, and it's an obvious sales pitch, and there's nothing educating you really at all on that specific product and why you would want it in your own home and why you would want to use that on a daily basis. That's a bad post.
Yep. Here's another one.
Yes, and this one is just getting too political or too controversial on really, to me, on any social channel, but especially on LinkedIn. You're representing your business, you're representing your professional life, and if you're trying to get a job, or if you're trying to hire new employees, or you're trying to get new business, getting on there and either arguing with other people or showing too much of a certain left wing or right wing side, or any type of opinion like that is just simply it's going to start an argument, and you just don't need that on any type of business advertisement.
Yeah, that's right. And everybody's got friends that are putting stuff out there, and it's just like they're just really looking for a controversial
Right.
kind of a statement. All right, what about this one?
Yeah, and this one right here is that's for Facebook right there. That is oh, it's cute, and yeah, everybody likes baby lions and things like that, but that has absolutely nothing to do with your business or what your business is offering. You want to keep it strictly professional for LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. Here's one. I hope this is a good one. This is a representation of a good or a bad post here. What's your thoughts?
This is a very good one. I love this one. Christy did this. This was a blog I did for BIS, and then she made it into a video, and it's colorful, but it gets straight to the point as far as your eye-catching and informative information at the very beginning. The caption is short but sweet. It gives you a link where you can go and read the actual article. But this video on Philip's LinkedIn actually gives you a lot of the information as you watch it. So you can read the full article, but before you read the full article, you can watch this video, and you're getting a lot of the bullet points from the actual blog article. And so when it comes to advertising for your business, this is going to catch people's eye much more than just a regular, one sentence caption with a link attached to it. If it has this video attached and you've done a white paper and you've made it, informative, but still keeping it social, it's grabbing people's attention.
Yeah. Another thing, that call to action is really important to get people to ultimately, websites nowadays are kind of like what we used to think of as landing pages. Nobody will, it used to be you'd have a 50 page website. Now, 5-10 pages is plenty. People want to get straight to the point. You want to call to action. You want to link them back so that ultimately you're leading you're putting the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trail to get them right to your door to do that. And the way you do that is with great content. And I'll say it again, I've said it before, you want to be able to purpose your content. This was a blog that we turned into a video that links back to the blog, and again, that goes out on multiple social channels, and it really works over time, because I know it works because of whenever I discuss with clients, they're talking to me about the material that we're putting out there. And so it really is a great way to help. So we'll mark this as a good post. All right, let's talk about engagement now. And again, on LinkedIn, guys, it is such a different animal as far as engagement. And at times and I'll let Stephanie talk to this, or Christy may even want to jump in because she does a lot of the boosting or paid for ads out there on LinkedIn. But at the end of the day, we want to get engagement. But I mean, we can do something on Facebook and get 10 times more engagement, but I still think that on Facebook we have such a broader audience that is, maybe if you're picking the right channel, if you're a business to business type person in professional services, two likes on LinkedIn could be more powerful than 200 likes on Facebook because of just the audience that sees it. So talk to me about that, Stephanie.
Yeah, and Christy, I'll let you run with this one because you do a lot of the ads on LinkedIn, and what the difference is as far as price. Price is higher on LinkedIn for actual ads, and also your engagement, like Philip said, it's more valuable, and that's why you're spending more on ads to get more engagement.
Absolutely. So I do know that ads start out at a minimum of $10 per day. So that's why it's extremely important that the post that you're boosting is going to work. It's going to convert people. Otherwise, you're wasting a lot of money to not really get any results. So it's something that we always do on LinkedIn. We feel like it's really important as part of our campaigns. A lot of times we'll make a guide. For example, we just did a guide for governments, and this guide will have pertinent information on cybersecurity. And so now our next step is boosting it on LinkedIn, because while it's great on Facebook as just kind of a billboard advertisement, since we're B2B, it really has legs when it's on LinkedIn, because we've got our targeted group that we can go after. And the amazing thing about LinkedIn is you can target so in depth. I can go after people who are office manager, practice administrator, CEO, president, and then I can even select the industries that I want to target. If I want to target, manufacturing, government, medical practices, I can do that. So LinkedIn, if you're a B2B, is especially important when it comes to lead generation for that.
Yeah, and I tell you guys, what we have working right now is really working better than ever, and it's more so these ladies and the rest of our team than me. I'll say that for sure. But the kind of what we're doing that is really working well is we are developing lead magnets, and that's a particular blog, a white paper, something that is of value to our client, thinking about what is in their best interest, what information do they need to know, and presenting that in a compelling way. And we're doing it by vertical, like government is what we're working on right now. And we're presenting that out there, and then we have salespeople that have follow-up calls that are made after we've gotten engagement. We've sent information out to them, and we're finding there's a formula here that is really working. And it's I believe we had 17. I have 17 appointments for next month already, so it's really working. And this really works, what we're talking about here. This is not just a pie in the sky kind of thing. If you want to grow your business and you're a B2B and you're a professional services company, LinkedIn is absolutely the way to do it. And you will not find a more cost-effective way, even if the ads are more expensive, because of that, being able to dig down deep. Because whenever people fill out basically their resume and their job titles and all that stuff that you don't get on other social channels, you can really be talking to the right person.
Yeah. And just to kind of go back to the post itself, boosting's a big thing, but you can get really far with an organic post, especially if you're connected with the right people. So hitting a goal every week of connecting with so many people is extremely important. So try to connect with 50 people on LinkedIn. You can connect with your vendors, different people like that. But on your post, you definitely want the link going back to your website. You can even add some hashtags in there. Don't go crazy with it, but something like hashtag how to is a good one. Or a specific industry, technology, security, cybersecurity, and then an image. The image is so important. Always go with a video if you can, and then go with an image. I like to use an image of my guide, and as an actual guide, they can see the title of it. It's there. It looks like something that they can download. So we see great success come from that. So if you have any questions on posts or anything, you can always reach out to me and Stephanie on that.
Yep. All right. Talk about writing some articles as far as, in LinkedIn in the publishing section. What's the value of that? Why do I want to do that?
The article section is where people are going to get the most information about your business. I'm a huge advocate for blogs on a website, and I'm the same with articles on LinkedIn. This is how people get in, and you're educating your potential customer before they ever even possibly contact you. So they're getting in there and they're finding out what you know before they actually call you to hire you. So this is the place to do that, is to make sure you have articles written. You can even go in here and do articles. Obviously you're going to put where they came from, but a lot of businesses, may run a new article that was already published by Forbes, and they can just put the actual link to the Forbes article in here. But it's mainly, you're going to put your own articles, but then also too, if there's industry news elsewhere that you want to publish in here, like Christy said earlier, it notifies all of your followers, so they are engaging with you on a regular basis.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about original content, basically something that you came up with, or something that you're linking out to Forbes. I know a particular person that I've been watching for a while, and I kind of, I want to see where people are being successful, and so I watch different individuals and see what they're doing, because again, these algorithms change, and the ones that are successful are doing something that obviously is being liked by the world, or by the the algorithm gods. So that's how you learn. And at the end of the day, you want to have a mix. You want to have some of your own content, more of your own content than you just basically posting off of something else, because that's just a turn off to people, in my view. You want to have some good content that is self-made or whatever. All right, let's talk about not just posting to your company page. You want to,
well,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and this is where we were talking about earlier on a lot of people ask, why do I need to have a personal LinkedIn when I have a business LinkedIn? And, why do I need to post to both of them? Well, because people are, in the end, they're getting to know you as a person, but you want to be linked to your business. So when you are posting things like this announcement's for BIS, but it goes out to Philip's own personal LinkedIn, because Philip has a lot more followers on his personal LinkedIn, but they are BIS customers or potential clients, but they're getting to know Phillip along the way. So all these articles, all these posts, all these business updates and industry news for BIS is being seen by people who are following Phillip. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't just post to your company page, make sure you're putting it on your personal page as well.
Yeah, that's right. And that's where really the magic happens is on your own page. And kind of leading to the next thing is you want to post often. You don't have to post every day, but to be relative, I think you gotta post at least once a week. I'd probably say 2 to 3 times a week would be better. But again, it's about posting. It's not it's about content, not just posting. If you're just posting, some stuff, we have people all the time and they're like, oh yeah, we got my 16-year-old, she loves social media. Well, and then she does, and she'll know every button to push on Facebook. Trust me. Instagram, she gets it. But the problem is they don't have a business mindset and a strategy that's going to actually drive revenue. And I think I'll take a moment just while I'm kind of in that thought process of what I see. Oftentimes too, you got to have engagement throughout the entire organization. If you're going to be successful, you got to be doing the things where you're reaching out, trying to connect with people, potential people that are, potential good for your company or whatever. You need to have a system where you're actually reaching out and trying to get them. I think we have goals here where we try to get at least, I don't know, Christy, the goal number, is it 50 per week?
It is, yes. So we send out 50 messages and connection requests.
Yeah. So we're hitting 2 veins. We're hitting 50 new potential people that fit the avatar that we're looking for to say, hey, I want you to be my connection on LinkedIn. And then we're sending out 50 messages saying, hey, you fit our avatar basically. And I don't think we have a slide on this, but well, I guess this next slide is a little bit more about connecting. But you want to, again, reach out, try to connect, but you don't want to be salesy in that connection. You're dealing with the man, all the time, or I say the man, I don't mean as in male, I mean the head dog. You can get all the way to the decision maker with LinkedIn, which is so powerful. Because a lot of other times, people get me on LinkedIn that they would not get through basically the gatekeepers here. And that's powerful, but you want to do it in a way that's respectful, and you want to do it in a way that is not salesy. Because, I always say people want to buy, but they don't want to be sold. And if you can identify their needs and you have something that fits their needs, they'll buy. There's not going to be a problem with making the sale if you've got a solution that's priced accordingly and all that value-based solutions. You're going to do fine. And this is a way to cut through all the noise and get to where you're talking straight to the decision maker. So it's very, very, very powerful, LinkedIn. Anything you ladies want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. Stephanie, go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then Christy does a really good job with, a part of the business relationship too. If people start following Phillip and they're not necessarily, needing BIS, or they're not sure that they want to hire BIS right now, or BIS Designs, any of the businesses, they can follow Phillip and get to know him and get to know all of his business practices and what his interests are as far as, community work and things like that. And then maybe it'll be next year, but they'll turn around and go, you know what, we need cybersecurity now. We're going to call BIS. Or, hey, we need a new website. Let me call BIS Design. So you're building a relationship on LinkedIn with professional, like Phillip said, with decision makers of other businesses.
Yeah. Stephanie's so spot on with that. I always say LinkedIn is my best drip marketing, because once you get them in there, there's being dripped on with all of our marketing materials, our events, our webinars. We're posting about lunch and learns. We posted about this webinar to drive attendance. The only thing I would add, Phillip, is you are getting to the decision maker, so you don't want to blow it with an over salesy message to them. If you come in, one of my favorite ones that I've ever received came from this guy in the Auburn Alumni Club. And his first thing was, first and foremost, War Eagle. And so he started off with that. He already had me hooked. So a lot of people, in Alabama, football rules all. So starting off with something like Roll Tide, or maybe another group that you run in, hey, how was that chamber event? Starting something off like that gets their attention, and they don't think you're just after them for sales. So I would definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah. And again, I always go back to we're looking to get married with these people. We're not looking just to date. So you don't want to go in with the cheesy line of, something that's going to ultimately, another line that I like to think, or another thought process I have, is we don't want to treat infinite problems with finite solutions. You want to always have the long game in mind of what you're doing, because once you play that long game long enough, you'll have 17 appointments next month, and you're wondering how you're going to actually get all that work done. And these are 17 qualified, bona fide, real deal deals that we'll close a lot of those, and that is something that it's because we weren't thinking short term. And we always want to think about that in really in anything we do in life. I think too often we make those short-term decisions that cost us big in the long run. All right, let's talk about employees and making company posts. Sounds dangerous to me. Y'all straighten me out on that.
I think you should always have, one person overseeing the actual strategy, but I think having employees make posts or giving them the option to give you ideas is always obviously a teamwork strategy is always better than just one person. But the good thing on here is if you have a service industry type job, and you have techs out in the field, or you have people out working with clients or new customers, or they're the ones who are working with the actual clients, and they're the ones who have the option to take on-site photos and things like that. And so when it comes to social media, even LinkedIn, your photos are a big part of it. So if they're out there and they're actually getting the work done, then find out, a fun story. It all goes back to storytelling. So if there's a story that happened while, your tech was out at a job, and they come back and tell you about it, then share it. Find a way to either put it into a photo or put it into a short caption, but people learn about your business that route.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about skipping messaging. What's that mean?
Don't ignore people. Nobody wants to be ignored, and communication is the whole point of social media. So if someone's messaging you, or if you have something specific you want to say to someone else, then do it through social media and keep it social. But if someone messages you with a specific question, or even if it's a complaint or a bad review, you want to respond to it, and always do it in a professional manner.
Yep, absolutely. That's something that you can tell who's a real baller by how quick they respond back to you. And there's also apps. You can get LinkedIn app on your phone, and you can turn alerts on so that when somebody hits you, so that you can respond back. I think it's a little more lenient for me. I would say within a day. It may be even of course, if I'm hitting somebody on LinkedIn, I'm not doing anything that's like, hey, you want to go to dinner tonight, because they may not check it. But I usually within a day I want to respond back. Probably you could kind of do a little bit of a sounding board and figure out what most people think. It's probably would be acceptable to be even a few days on that channel, but always message back, even if it's no thank you. So who should we connect with? I think that is something that, I have a lot of connections, and some of them I wish I would not have connected with, but so who should you connect with?
Christy, I'll let you get on this one. So you obviously do a lot of the LinkedIn for BIS, but one thing I do want to say is we had a client recently on the marketing side of things who they work a lot on LinkedIn, but he, as the business owner and manager, was so hesitant to go in and connect with any other of his competitors. So if they came in and requested him to connect with them, he would say, absolutely not. I'm not, because I don't want them to see who I'm working with as far as clients go. I don't think that's necessarily a smart strategy, but that's just me. I think you need to connect with other people who are working with you, even your competitors. If they're wanting to get in there and actually connect, the bigger your social channel or your social group is there, the better as far as LinkedIn goes.
Absolutely. So to add to what Stephanie was saying, the way LinkedIn works is you have first connections, second connections, and third connections. You cannot send requests to third connections, I don't believe. So what that means is you want to connect with a ton of people in your area. Like if they're local, don't ignore them, accept their connection, because that would open you up. They may be connected to one of your top prospects or someone that you want to get in touch with. So you should definitely be open to local connections. I do see where Philip's coming from, and we're a local company. Our market is local. Connecting with people in, Canada and Europe, probably not the best because it just adds extra noise to your feed. But if that's your market, then connect. Just don't not connect with someone just because you don't know them or anything like that. Because the more connections you have, the more opportunities it opens up. And there's an easy way to connect with people, especially if you have Sales Navigator. And I know that that's the next slide coming up. Through Sales Navigator, they have advanced searches, so you can easily set up and save a search and say, okay, I want to connect with vice presidents, C-levels, founders, practice administrators in the manufacturing and law, the legal fields. Then you can save that search, go through, connect with all these people, and I mean, it's just so easy. You can easily get your 50 connections in, I would say, like 30 minutes or less, of just going in and do that. So I think LinkedIn is not something that you can just touch once for the week and be done. It's something you should be touching at least once a day, checking in with these connections, sending out messages, and posting to your feed.
Yes, absolutely. That is an extremely powerful tool because you can build a group, and as new people add themselves to LinkedIn, they populate that group. There's a lot of powerful tools that are within that. That's a premium service. That's not the free, but it's well worth the money if you use it. And really, I think for a professional, it's probably some of the best money that you'll absolutely that you can spend. So that pretty much, I think, sums this up. For anybody on the call, if you guys are interested in LinkedIn marketing, we'll give you a free LinkedIn marketing report. We'll put Stephanie or Christy on that to kind of look at your profile and give you some pointers as to where are you strong, where are you weak, what do you need to be doing, and put together a little strategy and a plan moving forward so that you're able to get what you want, out of this particular channel. So I guess we can open it up for questions. Christy, any questions come through?
Yes, we did have a few come through. First off, how much does Sales Navigator cost? Yeah, that's what that says.
What is it, $79 a month?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that's one thing. And guys, if you want, you can put in the chat any other questions that you might have. You can drop them over in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them. We're really running a little bit long. We're going to let it go a little long because to me this has been great. I mean, as far as very informative, ladies. Y'all did an outstanding job. Any other questions?
Yes. How do you encourage your employees to post on LinkedIn?
I think you got to have that cascading message throughout all the teams, and it's got to be something that you really have to keep in front of them. I always think about the stair-step approach to learning, and you got to remind, even to the point as a leader where people make fun of you for reminding them. That's okay. as long as you remind them good things that they need to do. That would be my thought, and I'm sure y'all have some other ways.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, I think there's a big difference in when the employees are educated on why it's such a big deal, why LinkedIn and how it's helping the business. I think they're a lot more willing to get in there and post to it. And also, too, something we do, everything that goes out for BIS or BIS Designs, our marketing side of things, we post to all of our, not all of our employees, but some of the leadership team. We all have our LinkedIn's attached to those posts. So that's another option that you can have. So everything that goes out for your business also goes out to your employee pages if they opt in on that.
Yeah, it's a great way to have a, we struggled with that for a while, and the team didn't know what we were doing on the marketing side. So these are ways that you can kind of, keep everybody in the loop, if you will.
Okay. We also have one come in that says, do you need LinkedIn if you're B2C?
I would suggest having it. It's really a strong marketing for B2B, and obviously, Christy, you know how that is as far as
Yes.
BIS goes. But for B2C, I would say it's still needed. It's just according, you just have a different strategy according to what type of business you have.
And just to add to that, LinkedIn shouldn't only just be thought of as a marketing tool, because B2C can really utilize it for hiring. If you're wanting
Right.
new employees, you can market to hire, so it's really huge for that. Everybody's getting on LinkedIn to find jobs. So posting about new jobs coming in, maybe since you are B2C, you don't need to post all the time, but definitely post your jobs on there.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. And I would say definitely too for you never know. I mean, certain people get very and they want to know who they're buying from. It's a great way to present yourself. You may not have near the activity level if you were working, a professional, B2B kind of thing. You wouldn't have as much activity, but I definitely have a strong profile. And it's also a great learning tool. I think that you can learn a lot of information about whatever you want to learn about if you search it and you work it.
Absolutely. Okay, I believe that's all we've had. So if anyone else has any other questions, please just email us. We'll be sending out an email tomorrow so you can respond back with any questions you may have.
Yeah, and again, I'd like to thank Christy and Stephanie. They have done an absolutely wonderful job as usual, and really I couldn't do what I do without them, and I appreciate that, and I also appreciate all you guys spending time with us today. I want to kind of give a little bit of a preview to something that's coming. We haven't got dates set yet, but some of you guys on the call may even actually get a call or an email from me. We are going to be starting a podcast because that way it's a little easier. I think we're going to continue the webinar, and kind of our marketing strategy is we do lunch and learn. So y'all always keep a close eye on the if you go to our askbis.com site, you can see all that we're doing. If you go under university and events, you can see always what we're doing. But we do a quarterly lunch and learn for the BIS IT team. We do a quarterly lunch and learn for the marketing team. We do a monthly webinar for the IT team, and we do a monthly webinar for the IT team. So you can always go there and look. And we're going to be starting a podcast. And my goal really is to take information that is from people that are very gifted or very well, they do really a great job in a particular area, or they have something that's going to help a business owner, an entrepreneur. And we're going to call it Success Failed with Phillip Long. And I'm going to be doing interviewing. And the reason that is because this really at some level, you're going to succeed, and maybe you're experiencing a high level of success. Well, you're going to succeed to the point where you fail, because our goal is we've got to continue educating ourselves. We've got to continue growing, because if we're not growing, we're dying. And ultimately, you succeed yourself to a point of where you're failing, where it's not working, or you need help. And the goal of this is, and then you overcome, you discover, and you make adjustments, and you overcome, back to success again. But we're constantly going to be in this state of I'm succeeding and I'm failing at the same time, and we need to challenge ourselves. And what I want to do is put together these podcasts with people across the board, and who can add to us, where even, I kind of think of humans as we're human. We got to take care of our body, so we want to have people that can help us with nutrition, with our exercise programs, trying to care for ourselves so that we're able to continue. And I think of it from a standpoint of how do we interact from a cultural standpoint with our business and with our people on our teams? How do we then interact with the world through social media, with our meetings and sales and all those kind of things? And then spiritually, that's not a huge topic, and I don't want to get all off in the weeds, but I want to interview people who can add to our lives by helping us, because it's obviously, you look back through history, it is absolutely a core component of humanity. And I want to do that in a way that is encouraging and enlightening and uplifting, and not controversial. So we're not going to have controversy, because that's just a waste of time. But we're going to kind of hit all of those topics, and we're going to be really reaching out to people in our business community and around, that are going to be informative. So I'm really excited about it personally, because I know I've learned so much. And I'm so thankful for what I've learned, and I want to share that, and I want to share the things that I learned from my clients. And so if you get a call, please join us for an interview style podcast that'll be coming up. And again, thank y'all so much, and I will let y'all get back to work. Thanks again. Thanks, everybody.